wants to hear of that toxic self. The bell of our ancestors where it's felt. Passing through the desert, we are taken to a higher realm. So no one wants to hear all that toxic self. When the bell of our ancestors where it's felt. Passing through the desert, we are taken to a higher realm. So no one wants to hear all that toxic self. When the bell of our ancestors where it's felt. Passing through the desert, we are taken to a higher realm. So no one wants to hear all that toxic self. When the bell of our ancestors where it's felt. My boyka, my boyka, my boyka. Let me lower this music down. Excuse me. My boyka, warhub. Also, bienvenido, welcome, y'all. I decided to come on a little early today, around 3. And I know probably won't be too many people on here, people working, doing what they got to do in school, whatever. But it's recorded. You can always go back. That's fine. That's fine. You know what I'm saying? So before I start, and we'll go over the chant. But before I start, I just want to mention that this is from the sacred tablets of Antim Re, right? What they call them, the Go Book. See? Go Book. And it's a good book because it has a bunch of prayers and affirmations and things like that. I'm going to start using some of this. I'm going to start translating into Sabiic. It does have a little Sabiic in here, or Nuwapic, or Nubic, but I'm going to start going over and going to the Sabiic. But for today, let me just do this in English, okay? And I'll translate it to Spanish one day. But I like this, and this should be always thought about before you start any class. Any class is you have to, again, thank the ancestors, thank the guardians, those heavenly ones, right? The inhibitors of Sirius and Orion, Sabah and Sabah, the guardians of the skies, providers of the planet, mothers and fathers of the Homo sapiens. O guardians, our Nebu Seba, descend into and around me, descend into all of us and around us. Guide me in all that I do. Make me in your own image and after your own likeness. Help me that I may help all Homo sapiens, all humanity, all Homo sapiens. Let me speak from your head and not from my own. It comes through me. Right? Let me care from your heart. Ab, not my own, but from your heart. The Ashuk, right? I like to start off like that, you know. Hey, my aunt, everything is good, everything is good, everything is good, everything's good. So I'm just gonna do the chant. Give me 1 second. I should pull it up. Un momento. Well, I won't pull it up. Well, I am gonna need to pull it up eventually because I do need to. So I'll share it. I'll share it later because I want to demonstrate something when it comes to the language. Okay. Let me get everything ready. Yeah. 1 second. Yeah. Okay. And okay. What is this? This is Pa Takyud. Anuki Yahweh Pa Ashuk Impa Paot Wukale Ashuk Kawun Yahweh Nia Anuki Kwasaun Impa Paot Wupa Paot Kawun Kwasamun Im Nia Anuki Wahul Ame Paot Wupa Paot Kawun Wahu Ame Nia Nakuk Kodor Naja Ame Kwasaum in Paot Wuhabub Ame Mushaf Nakuk Kodor Kawan Kalepafaf Nakuk Dayor Jawef Paot Ame Wasah Ame Dayarni Kawun Lake Bakai Jawef Paot Anuki Jabid Binafashni Paot Kawun Anuki Paot Kodor Nakuk Kodor Paot Almul Nakuk Almul. This is Lahe Hum Manah Noon. From them, from us. Lahe Hum Manah Noon. Amt Hum Ather Karer Hum. Amt Hum Ather Karer Kum. Amti Hum Ather Karer Noon. Amti Hum Ather Jawefniya. Amti Hum Ather Niya Wu Anuki Hum Yaye Ashuk Yaye Ashmu Jaya Nu Yaye Natharu Afuk Nu Anu Ather Muhrar Ukum Yaye Natharu Afuk Nu Yaye Natharu Nu Anu Atum Atum And I'm just going to leave it. We actually just do this next one. This namaz or wahu yaye mufa ko mufa ko nun yaye nataru yaye sai yaye nataru yaye yaye nataru amti kum aterpa mufaku yaye nataru amti kum aterpa mufaku nu wu anu ater muhra ukum wu amti kum ater musar nu yaye nataru ahrur mukhras nun amtum re yaye Yaye na claro. Now, I'm going to explain later of why I use those tones, and you might see a little difference in tones, but that's okay. We're going to speak about that when we get to the linguistic part. But at first, I wanted to go on with some of these lessons that helps helping me. I'm learning. As I'm in this journey and learning, there's certain uploads and information, and then I have to look into different sciences out here. And it doesn't matter if it's in the science of biology or the science of Scientology, the science of cosmology, or the science, all these schools of thought, even in WAPU and Wu Sabat. You know what I'm saying? That's the core of it. That's the core of it. That's the mob federation. That's the core of it, right? But you look out. You look out. So I just wanted to bring this up. I'm not gonna bring it up, but I'm gonna share with you. And one second. Share with you. Let me take the echo down a little bit. First, let me acknowledge people here. Okay. Now, today in the classes today, we were talking about organizations, right? Of how to put things in order. The imperial majesty, Kwasambu Ra, was present, and she gave, the plan of how they're going to use the structure and how to structure. And what I noticed is that the structure she was speaking about, I was able to stand to reason that this is a structure that we deal with in humanity all day long. This is a structure that causes us to become a society and causes us to become a community, eventually a city, a state, a country, and so and so and so. There's structure, right? Organizations have certain departments that must be filled with certain qualifications and people, you know what I'm saying, in order for you to run a society, run a tribe, an actual confederation, you know what I'm saying? But I'm not going to go there. I just dropped a little thing right there, but we're not going to go there. I want to hold on one second. Let me get off the screen. Give me 1 second. Yeah, I want to do this right. Let me do this for now. Um, yeah, do this for now. Yeah, I'll talk to you later. I'll talk to you. I so apologize to that. I think I pressed the wrong button over here. But let me know if you guys can hear me. Let me actually get on my Facebook. Man, I should have tested the sound. Man, I was going in, yo. Oh man. Can't man. We're gonna go over. Let me see. Let me see where ah yeah, yeah. Yeah. I don't understand. Uh, 1 2 1 2. I'm having all right. I had issues. I don't know from where the sound went, but I guess I'm gonna have to do this all over again, people. I'm so sorry. For those that's coming in right now, give me a thumbs up. Let me know if you can hear me. Let me know if you can hear me now. Can I get a shout out? Let me know. Can you hear me now? Anybody? Can you hear me? I mean, let me see what's coming through here. Damn, technology, bro. It's not technology, it's me. Okay. I'm having. Okay. All right, it's coming through. It's coming through. Perfect. Perfect. Thank you. Now it's coming through. Man, I don't know where I left off, man, but I was going in. Yo, yo, yo. I was going in. Oh, man. Let me see if I can salvage this and take it back a little. Well, I was speaking about good and evil. Okay. I don't know where we were left off, but about good and evil, about integrity and honesty that's needed in society in order for it to thrive, right? We need integrity and honesty. And that comes by determining and knowing what's good and evil. You know, now good means doing things that are helpful, constructive, making things better, making people happier. That's what's being good. And then evil means doing things that are harmful, the opposite, right? Causing great pain, upset, and misery. It is something that is bad or wrong. And if you look at the word evil, you flip it, you get live. It's just the opposite. It's the flip side of the coin. And so humanity is basically good. We want to survive, right? We try to do things to help others, improve things around us, our conditions, whatever we need to do. Um, we don't want to harm ourselves. We don't want to harm others, right? But when a person does harm to other, he would destroy himself to save people and things that he has harmed. If he harms somebody and he tries to save them, guess what? He destroys himself. But what is meant by saying something is good or evil or right and wrong? Now, the answer has to do a lot with survival. And survival means being able to stay alive or carry on and living or existing, right? Further, it means to live, survival, live, evil, the opposite. As long as you can and as well as you want to, and you're able to do it. Any action that helps survival that's considered to be good. The best action are those that contribute not only to a person himself, but to his family, his community, his tribe, his group, physical objects, humanity, mankind, and man, or life in general, man. Life. Additionally, to be good, the construction, that means the help, the existing for improvement, the construction that action brings about must be greater than the destruction that it causes. For example, the new cure of a disease may be an acceptable cure if it saves 100 lives, yet kills one. And that's when I brought up, let me share my screen again. That's when I brought up, okay, that's when I brought up the symbol. and I'll bring it once again. You see this here, the yin yang symbol. Now, this is a principle, right, that is being taught in also in the Happy Valley. Now, when you had in the Mount Federation, you had all these hunter gatherers, and you had these civilizations, the first civilization being morphing into other civilization, right? They went into China, they went into India, they spread out. Those are the African Chinese, those Chinese that look Africans. Have you seen those before? That's where it comes from. And that's where the Tai Chi comes from. That's now Valley teaching. And if you look at it, what do you see? You see the white section, you see a black dot. You see the black section, you see a white dot. Because that's the principle that in all this good, let's say the black is good. Let's switch it around. Let's say the black is good. In all that good, there's a little piece of white in there, evil. And all that evil, guess what? You're going to find a piece of good in there. Because it cannot survive. That is balancement. That is natural nature. That's a force of nature. That balancement, force of nature that we have to accept, and we have to, again, put our mind in order. Understand that our heaven can be somebody else's hell. Our hell can be somebody else's heaven, vice versa. Right? So we got to learn, we got to stand to reason that principle. I hope you're hearing me. Stand to reason that principle. And that is one of the principles, Happy Valley principles, conveyed to us by Tehuti, who they're known as Thoth Hermes, Padnabab Yananin today, the incarnation of today, the Tehuti of today, because his character and personality, and look what he's teaching. That's the character and personality that he's been able to fit himself into. That's now Valley Science. That's the Ma Federation that had enough time to figure out these forces of nature and see how things work. See, that's ancestral patterns and genetic blueprint, that information that's there, that's in all of us, to comprehend that DNA explosion, that help us be aware of and a clear consciousness of this force of nature. And that's a dichotomy, the good and the evil, right? So good is always being more right. Good is also being more right than you are wrong. You know what I'm saying? Good is being more successful than you are unsuccessful. In your struggle, in your life of success, there's down points. There's projects and things that you are unsuccessful at. It doesn't mean to give up. Only the strong person will continue on because they want to survive. That is a good act. It improves other people's and things around you. Yeah, I have many unsuccessful moments in scholars, in academia, in my life, a lot. But you learn, you see wisdom, knowing what's right and wrong, or what's good and evil in the history of things. That's wisdom. And we're taught that out of that wisdom, you pull out knowledge. Knowledge. But we're not going to go there. So evil is the opposite of good. When we act like something a person does, it's more, when it's more destructive than constructive, that is evil. It's more destructive than constructive. You got to take statistics also on this event. You got to take statistic on this act. Yo, I got to impact this. I got to see what's up. Is this more good than bad? Because it's going to have an element of bad in there. It's going to have that element's going to be present. It can exist at the same space and time. It occupied different spaces, I'm sorry, but it exists at the same time. Anything is evil that brings about the destruction of people, groups, and reduces the future. Reduces the future for the human race, humanity. Overall, good conduct is survival. And that's coming from the root. Evil conduct, that's non-survival. And that's and we're going to speak on more about fear. Right? An act or conclusion, that's the idea, decision one makes, a conclusion is right if it helps the survival of the person, or if it helps the survival of your family, if it helps the survival of your community, if it helps the survival of your city. I mean, we could go on and on. In group, man, and life making the conclusion. You know? An act or conclusion is wrong to the degree that it is non-survival to that person. It's detrimental. It's destroying that person. It's destroying the family, the group, man, life. The most wrong a person can be is dead. That's the most wrong you can be, is to be dead. The mental dead. Because the mental dead, you see, that's a Netherland. That's what deals also with the root energy center, the Netherland. And that's the realm of the mental dead in terms of metaphysics. Our ancestors taught this in terms of metaphysics, the mental dead. So symbolically, you have the mummy. The mummy is mental dead, and you have to resurrect the mummy. The mental dead doesn't have ethereal knowledge to survive properly. You know that? They can't survive in the ethereal realm, that heavenly realm, that ideas and concepts, that survival. They are destructive to everything around them. That's the mental dead. That's the most wrong that a person can be, is to be of that mental dead. Resurrection time, yo. So the person or group that is, on average, more right than wrong can and should survive. When you have nature knowledge, when you have that right, sound right reason knowledge, nupu knowledge, you have those actual facts and those pataruk, and you know, you are able to hear the message. You're able to see the message, to feel the message of Padnabayananan, right? That's just for our survival. That's survival for humanity. When you look at it, you do the statistic, and you see that it's humanity. When the person, the group, on average, is more wrong than right, they will succumb. What does succumb means? Fail or die, succumb themselves. That's mental dead. Night of the living dead, right? The walking dead, the mental dead. I see dead people. I see dead people. Remember that? Yeah, I said, I see dead people. Victoria, what's going on, mama? What's going on? Te presento a Maat. Maat, it's Victoria. I haven't seen Victoria in a while. You haven't came on. That's cool. Peace. So yeah, succumb. You're dead. You know what I'm saying? And this is, again, mental dead, because they again, when you resurrected and you're mentally alive and you got these synapses happening, is there an element of death in there? Yes. Yes, there is. But the balance is more to life than it is to death. In our bodies every day, you have cells that regenerate itself, and then what happened to the dead cells? You know, we deposit that. That's why when you go to the bathroom, those are the rings around the toilet bowl. You're depositing those dead cells. It lives in our bodies. Those dead cells are in our bodies also. So dishonest conduct, that's non-survival, man. You know, that's detrimental. You know, point me out a criminal in the neighborhood and causing all destruction by stealing things from people and this and that and causing havoc in the neighborhood. That conduct, it's not for the survival of that community. Can't thrive because now people are going to get so frustrated if nobody fix that problem. They're going to move away, destroy the community, get destroyed. That's the reason why you have that element. You know, when you say you will do something and you do it, you are then trusted. That's trust, integrity. That's trust. That's survival. That's for the betterment of your community, your group, your family. I say, I'm going to do it, I'm going to do it, I'll do it. Keep your word. But only so long as you do what you say you would. Don't do more. What you say you going to do. That's it. That's it. To the weak and the cowardly, the people that act weakly, and the irrational ones, or the unreasonable people, the mental dead, dishonesty, and the harming of others, and the destruction of their hopes can seem to be the only way of life for them. That's all they can see. They see you, you see them. I see dead people. Oh, serious? No. I didn't say it. Yep. People do dishonest and destructive things because of fear. That fear. They don't know how to alchemy. They don't know how to take that fear because you're going to need the fear. The fear of not having something is going to want you to get it. But it's the way you get it, the method you use to get, you know what I'm saying? That. The fear of not having something caused me the fear of not having food. I got to go get the food. So I got to get a job. The fear of not having work. I got to survive, right? But if you go out there, what? Just stealing and causing harm, and say you just gave into your fear. That's false evidence appearing real, they say. Lies are told because one is afraid of what will happen if one tells the truth. People are afraid, man. Are afraid to have certain conversations in certain sectors. Because again, we've been broken up. And I'll go over that in a few minutes. So it probably seems more normal and perfectly all right for some people that they live in a society full of drugs, criminal, war, and insanity. The mental dead. The mental dead are groomed. We all been groomed. We all at one point in time did not have that conscientiousness and had it to be developed later. Because again, and it's not to discredit the public educational system, but the public educational system is a system that prepares you for a public sector, a public job, makes you a public citizen. A good public citizen becomes a public soldier, becomes a soldier. That's governmental. They prepare you from that. They put you in class. In their jobs, they got G1 or G2, right? They put you in class system. Kindergarten, first grade, second grade, third grade, fourth grade class, and on and on and on. That's classism. This is their method of doing things. In certain tribal, in the Nile Valley, they didn't have classes like that. They did not. That only happened when you went into like the apprentice, you went into craft, and then it wasn't a class, it was the different level, into apprentice, a fellowship, and you became a master mason. Actually taking the tools and building buildings and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? But this is a whole different class system. Class system, different public domain. And there is a private domain. But that takes a lot of work to become private. A lot of work. And to work with people that are private, but at the same time able to manipulate themselves within the public sector. It's not about private and just isolating. It's about being private and operating in the public sector. There are people that does that. Private companies, private living citizens, private companies that are not governmental funded, that does not pay for certain taxes, do not pay, you know, are not registered at a certain registry, but have their own registry or become private sovereign state. That's a whole different conversation we could go into one day. And that's, I'm not living it the way I should be living it. We are born sovereign, but there's much more that I can do to correct that status in terms of if I'm to operate within a public sector. I'm coming in as a private citizen. There's people that does that. I'm not saying that's for everybody, okay? But when you're aware that, and you stand to reason that, we got public education, public sector, so we can get a public job in the public, not private. But there are people that are operating in a private sector, but they don't teach you about that in some colleges, some universities. They don't teach that because, again, it's a public education, public sector. They're being funded. They're being subsidized by certain public sectors, government public sectors. And so we accept drugs and criminals in a neighborhood war and insanity. Insanity. I had a conversation with people and I'm like, this is insane. 2022 and you're still having that narrative, man? You still spitting those same bars when it comes to religion? Yo, this is 2022. There is a time difference in, even if you go in the biblical narrative where Jesus appeared into Revelation, there's two different time periods. There is a development, a betterment, it speaks about in Revelations. It's not normal to be in a society full of drugs and criminals and war and this insanity, these insanity narrative. That's not normal. It is not necessary. It is not necessary. There's a rose that grows in that hood. It's not necessary. It is possible for all people to lead happy and successful life. That's possible. Nature thrives. We connect to nature and we become conscious and conscientious, doing acts that, again, are successful for our lives, successful people we know, our group, our family, our tribe, our city, our nation, our city, our state, our country, our nation, our continent, our hemisphere, our planet, our solar system, and our galaxy. It starts by really standing to reason what makes something good and evil, right and wrong. So that's where it starts. Integrity and honesty starts from really standing to reason, hey, what's good and what's beneficial. They have this thing called the touchstone of positivity. When you think about something or you touch something, you say, is this going to make me better? Is it going to make my family better? Is this information going to make my family better? Is it going to make my community better? Is it going on and on and on? I'm generally a good person. People know that. They'll tell you that, oh, that's a good brother. But I also have an element of evil within me. Very small, very small. Don't get it twisted. Very, very, very small. Sometimes I think I'm strange. Very small. But you need that. Again, you need that. You know what I'm saying? That's what Tahuti in those principles. You need that. A light bulb has both negative charges and positive charges. The atom, your very cells, negative charges and positive, what they call protons and electrons. Negative charges the positive charges. We need it. Oh man, so, very, very, love land. Oh, hey, Coach Erica, love. Yes, man. I'm glad you're here. I'm glad you're here. Yeah, yeah, yeah. See, I do classes like this online. You know what I'm saying? That we share certain things online. So I want anybody to welcome Coach Erica Love. You know what I'm saying? I met her last night. She's nice sister. But again, where we're on the subject of, we're in a subject of integrity and honesty. And how do you recognize and how do you go forth in helping your society? Because it's needed. This is a natural occurrence, society coming together as a group, as a tribe. You know, this is ancient knowledge. Coming together as a tribe. You need a sense of integrity and honesty. And the group, the person, the family, the group, the nation has to now do the investigation and find out what's good and evil. You need to stand to reason what's good and evil and how does it work. We already show you the yin yang. How in the black part there's a little white, and in the white part there's a little black, because it's needed like a light bulb. It's needed. That's the dichotomy of life itself. And this is what our ancient ancestors in the Happy Now Valley, they had time to observe this in natural nature throughout the night. And this is what they taught in the institution. This is Tahuti. The sacred wisdom of Tahuti teaches this. And that balancement, as above, so below, and that balancement. Principle of vibration, the principle of gender, the principle of all those. One day we'll go in deep into that. So this is just one of the first. Again, we're keeping it. So we didn't discuss this in the class today because I sit in the summit, and I'm going to invite a few people to come in and sit in the summit just to see what it's about. So in the summit, this is the African Union. Where I'm an Acadian, and these are from the African Union. These are a queendom. It has a parliament. This is sanctioned by the United Nations. It has a parliament. It has a queendom. It has a lineage. It has an ancestral pattern. It goes all the way back into the Kush. You know what? Let me bring that up. Hold on one second. It's better if I show you real quickly. Let me hold on. Hold on one second because my battery is going down low. Just give me 1 minute, folks. I'll be right with you. Okay, I'm back. It's just I had to plug in my charger here. I usually do. But anyway, I don't want to keep everybody up here too long. You know what I'm saying? Um, Peace and blessings to everybody on here. Victoria, my aunt, everybody on here. Coach Erica, love. Zaid, assalamu alaikum. Bond Dog, my man Bond Dog. So, where was I going with this? Okay, about this science, and this is for those that are just coming on here and to stand to reason where understand where I'm coming from. And this is now Valley Science. This is something that I feel is, again, this is passed on genetically. This is passed, this ancestral pattern. This is uploads. This is DNA exploding. This is all of that. Oral traditions. This is science. And again, go back into the Ma Federation, one of the first civilizations that became Kush and became ancient Kemet, became section in India, became sections of Sumeria, went into the Iberian Peninsula. I mean, spread all over because again, civilization and the Ma Federation, the first civilization that came out of the now Valley, what they call the Happy Valley, and the Congo Basin, and the Sahara, the Green Sahara, it spread all through that. And so our ancestors had time to to observe. They didn't have all the technology that we have today. They had the time to observe natural nature and the things about it. They were scientists, the first scientists, so they had time for experimentation and stuff like that. And that's a great way of obtaining knowledge, right? You learn it from oral tradition from your elders. That's one, because remember, the wisdom that they have is they know what's right and wrong in the history of things because they lived it. They made mistakes, so they learn by their mistakes. Some, majority do, and they lived it. And they know what works and what don't work because they had time to observe their very own nature. And that's how you gain knowledge out of that. So that's very important when it comes to this particular science, which I'm moved with because, again, I'm part of that federation, my federation, today's day and time, under the Imperial Majesty Kwasambure. And I'm going to show it to you here. Uh, okay, let me share this for you. I'm just going to briefly share this with you. And then I don't want to keep it too long here. Let me see something. Okay, let's share that. You should be seeing that. Hold on a second. Oh, I'm sorry. I got to get rid of this banner. Sorry. All right. Here we go. This is she's been coronated, I think, since 2000, I think 9. You have to read it for yourself. Um, oh, Jesus, what did I do? Yeah, House of Sheba. Here we go. The imperial kingdom of what they call Sheba, because Sheba, they're using the certain terms like Sheba, but it was really Saba. Those seven kingdoms. Saba means seven also in Kushite. You know what I'm saying? Seven. This is now Valley. And so the sovereign imperial kingdom of Sheba, right, is the ancestral imperial matriarchal ruling Kush, Nubian, Egypt, mother thrones of thrones. It's a succession. It goes back into ancient Kemet, the succession of the Tamare, right? That's where you see Isis and the child, right? And they morphed that and took that. The Romans took that and that became your Jesus and your Mary and Jesus and later on. But look at the name Mary. That's a line of successionship, right? So the throne of Sheba includes Sheba Yemeni, as such is the house of the oldest of the kingdom's lines of the south, in the south part of that continent known as Africa. The mother throne of thrones that stretches both within and outside the perimeters of the African continent, and by divine providence against may risen, they came out again in 2021 after 21 years ongoing effort of a far older vision of a decade of the African Renaissance. So this is from the African Union. They've been recognizing the different kingdoms and queendoms on the continent, and even stretching out into other continents too. Stretching out. We'll speak about that at some other time. You know? So I just want to give you a little backdrop. Thank you very much. I just wanted to give you a little bit of backdrop, on that. And so, in moving in society, in civilization, in moving for survival of the planet, We have to now, it deals with honesty and integrity, and it deals with knowing what's, again, good or bad, or right and wrong, right? Live or evil, survive or something evil, destruction. So we have to really go look at a good picture of what we're doing, because we are representative. We're natural in nature. We're representative of it all. We are part of the all. Remember that I should have went back and done the affirmation for those of you. I don't know if you heard the affirmation in the beginning because I had that button. Oh my God. Oh yeah. What I'm gonna do, y'all. You see, okay. I can do this. What I'm going to do. I'm sorry, but I'm gonna segue into something real quickly, right? For those of you that are interested, I'm gonna segue myself into something very interesting. And that is the chance. So in our affirmation, we call Pa Tak Yud. This is the Sabiic language, right? Mispatria. For the Mispatria Lahaj, Sabiic language. And this is an affirmation. See, we have many affirmations, we have many prayers and affirmations, which are very important. Christianity, they use the Lord's Prayer, right? Very important and you have to live that. As above, so below. As it is in heaven, let it be done here on earth, in this kingdom on earth. That's above, so below. That's principles, again, now Valley principles. That predates the Bible. When you're now Valley, the Kabbalion, or the knowledge, the wisdom of Tahuti. And here, I am in the divine love of the all expanding. I'm expanding now, right? Survival is growth. It's growth. And this is good. Anuki Jawe Pa Shuk Impa Out. Right? And all divine love, that's in me. This caring, this divine caring, it's in me. Wukale Ashuk Kawun Jawef Niya. I am part of the all expanding. I'm part of it. I'm that drop in the big ocean. Don't concentrate too much on the drop, man. Look at the ocean. I'm telling you. The all expanding. Anuki, Kwasam, Impa, Out. I'm part of the all expanding. Yeah? And that all expanding, that's part of me. You get it? Yin yang. Wupap out kawun kwasam im niya. The all expanding is in part. I am one as the all expanding. Anuki wahu meh papaut. I am one as the all expanding. And that all expansion, that all carrying, that expanding, that growth, that natural nature expands, surviving mechanism that we have is expanding. That's one as me. Wupapaut kawun wahu amaniya. I can succeed as part of the all expanding, man. I can succeed because I understand nature now, nature knowledge. I'm expanding, I'm growing, right? And you become successful. But remember, along the line, you're going to have unsuccessful attempts, but you keep fighting. You renew yourself. A constant renewal of yourself so as to become success. Nakak, Qadur, Najah, Ameh, Kwasam, un impact out. I can succeed as part of the all expanding. But I could fail as an individual person, a person that's selfish, a person that's dishonest, a person that's detrimental, a person that's just you're dead. They're mental dead. So you're gonna fail. Habub. Will habub. Am mushras un, a person, an individual person. I can be all that I want in the all expanding. Now I could be all, man. You can't stop me, man, because I know that nature is expanding and I'm going to expand. I'm going, I'm I am going to, I'm natural in nature, so I'm expanding my borders. I'm learning. I'm surviving. I am not doing detrimental things on there to hinder somebody else's survival. So we have to be very conscious of the fact that our heaven could be somebody else's hell. And our hell could be somebody else's heaven. But when we limit the amount of hell within us, that little piece, and the majority of is heaven. The majority of is success. Nakukodor kawan kaleh pafaf. Nakuk da yur jawef pa paut. I can be all that I want to be. Ameh wasa ameh dayarni kawun lake bakai jawe papaut. As long as my one, man, as long as I want to stay in that all expanding, man, I want to stay alive, resurrected. I want to stay conscientious, acting upon goodwill. That's why I want to stay. Because that's survival, that's growth for all humanity. You know? And listen, I'm never by myself. I'm never by myself. Anuki Yabid, Binafashni. I'm never by myself. The all expanding is survival, natural nature, that all expansion, that cosmic expansion is I am. Papaut Kawun Anuki. I am Anuki. The all expanding can, so I can. You know, Papaut Kador Nakuk Kador. Man, the all expanding can, I can. The all expanding does, so I do. That's my example, natural nature. That's what I want to reveal, those forces in the natural nature, knowing these principles that our ancestors, through oral traditions, and our ancestors observed and knew and taught for eons. For when the first civilization, the Maya civilization in Kush, in the Nile Valley, the cradle of civilization. So paut, almul, nakuk, almul, all expanding does I do. Now, the reason why I wanted to go there is because I'm going to segue to something real quickly. Hold on a second. Hope I didn't bore anybody with that. But anyway, you know, survival is growth. Never looked at it that way, Silos. Yes, to survive is to grow. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Mhm. Mhm. That's your being, your state of being, which is the state of existence, which is all expanding. We say pa paut. The Doggins in Mali say pau, pau. You know, that's the expanding. We say in Kush, they say pa paut, right? I'm gonna segue into how some of Nuwapian Sabians are saying paut. And that's okay. That's okay. You know. Again, I'm going to segue into something here, y'all. Let me go back here. Stop the screen. And that is about linguistics. And I'm going to do a special class on that for those. And this is going to help not only for Sabians and Nawapi, but any language that you speak, because this is what is called proper articulation. In linguistic, proper articulation, the phonology of things, and includes proper articulations of where you place. You see, what's more important that I tell, and I used to teach back then in Orlando, Florida. I used to hold Nawapi classes, but I was starting. I'm learning. Like I tell everybody, I'm learning this. But there's brothers that's far away. They know a lot of words in Nawapi, but when they speak it, right, they're not putting the tongue or the making emphasis on the different parts of the mouth. And that's another science. You see? So, about Rahubat, Rahubat. Instead of saying Rahubat, Rahubat, it's different than saying just Rahubat. Paut is different than saying Paut. In tonality, means the same. So we can understand that, sometimes in language it happens, like in here in the United States, brothers and sisters had a hard time rolling the R. Ra, 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 re, 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 right? Words like that. Re, re. They had a hard time doing the ra. So they wrote in the ara, 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 ra, raye, raye. You know what I'm saying? It's different than saying raye. Because they didn't have, that. But it's okay. That's okay. It means that language is being developed another way in the Western Hemisphere. That's all. That's all that is. It's just being developed another way. But I am speaking about the linguistics and the science of actually these glyphs of letting you know exactly where to place. For instance, you have certain letters, they call harafat, right? Letters, harafat, that are glottal sounds, throat sounds. We say halak, halak sawut. You have sound, sawut, halak, sawut, throat sounds. Like you have two different A, right? You have the ah sound and you have the A sound. To distinguish both and how to use it in a word like ashuk is to understand what are diphthongs. And see, that's what I'm going to bring in. It's the terminology, the jargon, the terminology in linguistics to give us an awareness of certain words that we may use that may be a diphthong. Like mot, or mat, or mot. You got to look at what letters are being put there. And where, if it's a glottal sound, a halak was sawut. Hazi halak sawut. Or is it just a simple A sound? A. And this also leads, superimposes the energy center. So the glottal sound, therefore shook, is the heart energy center. It starts from the heart, and then the A is the pituitary center. And then, shuk. The oo sound is the stretching sound, is to your sacral center. So these tones help vibrate your very energy centers. See, that's another science, in which I'm going to introduce. You understand. That's right, just a little bit, just a little bit. Just a little bit. Maybe, and I can put this also in the paradigm of Islam. Islam. In Islam, especially for the linguistics, you got two A sounds. You got the alif and you have the ayn. The ayn, mustaqim, ayn. That's the ayn principle. That's the ayn principle, which is the heart energy, the ayn, the ah, the glow to ah. You know what I'm saying? That's what I'm speaking about. As opposed to the alif. So it's Allah, Allah, not Allah. Allah, Allah, Allah. Right? If it was an ayn in there, there would be ayn, mustaqim, right? The straight path, mustaqim. Those just linguistics that can help you speaking, and even in Spanish. In Ebonics in the States, you got some people that pronounce the ain't, and but that contradicted that created a problem for public sector, again, public information and public sector, because they had everybody on a particular tone. When you learn English, you learn it at a specific tone. But if you go to England and the brother from UK, they speak with a totally different tones, and they pronounce certain those vowels differently, and you might hear more diphthongs in there. In China, you hear a lot of more diphthongs than you do. And a lot of language have these diphthongs, and we have them in English when we say boy. Boy, he's a boy, a little boy. Boy, you see that boy? It's two vowels in one, and like that. We have glottal sounds when you say hot. That's hot. And that's the ha, as opposed to that's not hat. No, then we would be saying hat or hot. See? These are phonetics, So I'm going to introduce that soon, so I'm not going to stay here too long. I want to introduce a class that deals with linguistics, the articulation, and phonology. And that is very important, because even if you look at for my Sabiic brothers and sisters, when you look at the language book in the beginning, there's a quote there that says it's a matter of where you place your tongue and the tones that you make, placing your tongues. That's how you learn language. And that was given to Abiyaya. And he's the one that gave it to the administration, because our master teacher wrote that to Abiyaya with certain words and told him, tell them that is how you place your tongue and where the sound comes from. Very important. So we get lazy. Papaat, papaat, papaut, papaut. It's papaut. Pa-paut, paut, papaut. So when we get into the chants and we get into that, you know what I'm saying? Certain articulation has to be practiced in order to preserve those tones and preserve that language. You know what I'm saying? And see it again from an awake mental, resurrected mental, not from a mental dead. So this is for my brothers and sisters. It's time to rise, man. So it's time to get these tones right. It's time to get these tones right, because if you don't, you become mental dead, you succumb, and guess what? We lack of that knowledge, we get conquered and enslaved all over again. It's liberation time, Libra. It's balancement time. Balancement. Anyway, I'm going to leave it there, y'all. Peace and blessings to everybody. Thank you all for who's been on here. Jay, I gave you a wrench, right? And I'm going to have to give some more wrenches to yours is coming. It's just I haven't had a time. But I think Zayd got one, Mondor got one. I give people wrenches, man. I give people wrenches. Yeah, hold on a second. Let me look at something and make sure that those wrenches come out. Yeah. Zay, yes, you have your wrench. Bondo, you have your wrench. Thank you very much. And I appreciate everybody. And let me see. Coach Erica Love, man, thank you for the Discord thing, and I'm gonna go on there, probably put this on there, and I'm going to definitely shout out to you. And my aunt, thank you very much, man. You need a wrench, I gotta get you. I gotta get you a wrench. You see, matter of fact, I do it now, right here. Yeah, here. My aunt, you got a wrench there. Now, don't go crazy with that wrench. Now, I gave my aunt, my beloved. I gave you a wrench so that just don't go crazy, hitting people on the head with it. You know what I'm saying? I love you, Boricua. I love you. So it's coming. It's coming. And for those of you that hang in and let me know what's going on, and it gives you wrenches. I'm going to give you wrenches and stuff. And so I want everybody to. I know that everybody is going to have a wonderful experience, and I just want to close out with this here, and that is again from the Sacred Wisdom of Antambre. And that is, let us, humanity, our people, Nuwapians, Sabians, and those people that are here in the chat, in humanity, let us, everybody that's here present, let us end this class knowing that our soul is satisfied. I'm hoping that you got something out of this and you're satisfied. You know what I'm saying? And our quest for truth have been reached. That every day we go for a quest for truth, and that's important, man. That's very important. Every day you get up. What I'm gonna learn today that I have not known. What that I can learn? What can I find out about something? Because that's all about growing, expanding. It's learning, right? And don't dissipate that. That's very important. Don't be afraid of it. Do it. You know what I'm saying? Put something into your life every day. You know what I'm saying? That you're gonna grow. And I like to, and let us all thank those ancient ones. Let us thank the Ma Federation, the first civilization out there. Let us thank all Tahuti, master teacher, Panabayanan. Let us thank all the ancient ones that had the time, the abilities, and recorded it, and sat down and observed natural nature, these forces of nature, and to put them into these sacred glyphs so as to preserve them, so that later on, when we go revisit these tombs and we go revisit, we see it on these walls that cannot be broken. They try to chip it off the stones and stuff, but there's still so many information. And our genetics, our ancestors also left forensic genetics in the land, and then also passed it on to linguistics, oral traditions, and stuff like that. So let's thank those ancient ones for that right knowledge, man. That right sound reasoning, that wisdom. They did things, and we see their mistakes, and we see what works for them, and so we obtain knowledge from that, from those ancient ones. And to stand in reasoning the right way. I stand correctly in this reasoning. I want to know. Let us thank the ancient one for sending, of course, Panabab Yananin. Man, Panabab Yananin. Let us thank for sending him. Let us thank for sending Dr. Ben. Let us thank for sending. And listen, for my Christian people out there, if you have to go that route, let us thank for sending Jesus Christ. Because there's a lot of people out there that's doing a lot of stuff, but in the name of Jesus Christ, they stop it. You know what I'm saying? They stop it. So even that, whatever you prescribe to, those ancient ones that you feel are your ancient ones. Now, Panabayananan and Tahuti, the incarnation of Tahuti in this day and time, he alone had that knowledge. The first resurrected, the first one to resurrect from the mental dead, to interject into our society's community, into humanity, this now happy valley science and way of life. That wisdom that's overstanding to break that spell that they call kingu, or that mental dead spell, that hypnotic spell, walking around mental dead, don't have any ethereal knowledge, and that's okay. But we're gonna resurrect you. I'm gonna resurrect myself too. All that mental dead that is in me, I got to raise that shit up, just like you. Let's do this together as a community. Thank you very much, Zay. Masala. Masala. Let us again, and it doesn't have to be so quickly, no steep. We can take it step by step and resurrect, so we know we can see natural nature around us, and we know the nature of people in the community. Man, we become a living example, a living God, children of the Most High, frequency, the Most High, SON, the Son. Man, we're thankful, we're thankful, we're thankful. Towel hat, towel hat, towel hat. And we are happy. This is the Happy Valley Science. Happy. Okay? Okay? Okay. And so with that, I will leave you my outro and sure. Yeah, leave it.